Hello and happy Wednesday. It's Wednesday, June 2nd, so we're finally into some June reading vlog material. I don't have a lot to update you guys on. I've got some personal stuff going on. Hopefully I get that sorted out. But in terms of reading, it is Pride Month, so happy Pride. I hope you all have a wonderful month of Pride, not only celebrating queerness, but learning about it. There's tons of queer history to be learned about all over the world. So as for me, I kind of discussed this on various social medias before, but my plan for this month was to read books that my partner has been bothering me to read for a very long time. And while that doesn't really have a queer theme to it, besides the fact that my partner and I are queer, it just so happens that the two books that I'm reading right now are queer stories. So let me introduce those. So the book that my partner has been bothering me to read the most is Gideon the Ninth. He really enjoyed this book, and as soon as he finished it, he just put it on my TBR shelf. I was like, Mari, you're gonna love this. You have to read this and then talk to me about this afterwards. So I'm finally getting around to it. I got to about 50 pages in, so 3 chapters in last night, and I definitely understand why people love the writing. It's definitely very stylistic and fun and not like super serious adult fantasy, which is a really good, nice breath of fresh air, because if you didn't see my previous reading vlogs, I've read a lot of very serious adult fantasy books recently. I actually spent perhaps too much time in the back of the book yesterday, because there's a really helpful pronunciation guide. There's a lot of, I wouldn't say hard to pronounce names, it's just when you see the name on the paper, it's not immediately obvious how to pronounce the name. So for example, the second main character, who is also the main character of the sequel to this book, Harrowhark Nonagesimus, I would have never been able to pronounce the last name if not for the pronunciation guide in the back here. Not really hooked quite yet. Sounds like it's just going to be a bunch of fun, so I'm very interested, and apparently it's sapphic. The very end of my last reading vlog, which I will link up in the cards, I went to the bookstore with my partner after wrapping up Beautiful Ones, and 2 things happened. So first of all, he walked up to me with this book and said, Mari, like, I think you would really like this book. And by God, is he right? First of all, this has been on my anticipated release list. I didn't know that it released last week, and I didn't think that my local Barnes & Noble would stock it, but they did. He found it before me and grabbed it for me and was like, I know it's a little expensive because it's a hardback adult fantasy, but I'm getting it for you. So thank you, my love, for getting me this book. Hello and happy Friday. I have not made very much reading progress, if I'm being truthful. About 100 pages into Gideon the Ninth, and that's just about everything that I have to update you guys on. I'm gonna hopefully try to read more, and yeah, hopefully I'll just get into it and I won't be able to stop. Sunday. So I finally finished Gideon the Ninth, and I am very happy that it's over with. I know that sounds like a bad thing, but I did honestly enjoy it. It's gonna go in my I liked it but column. There's a lot of buts, and I'll go over that in a second, but for the most part, I really enjoyed it. I think the latter half of the book is much more exciting than the first half, and that I really struggled with some things that I prefer out of adult high fantasies that I just didn't get out of Gideon the Ninth, and that's fine. I feel like the writing was fun and the character introductions were fun. The dialogue was always kind of, you know, snippy and fun to read. Like I said, there are just some things that I prefer with adult high fantasy that I would really have liked to have seen in Gideon the Ninth. And I remember reading some comments from some friends who were talking about Gideon the Ninth and how they were confused sometimes, especially in the beginning. And I totally see where the confusion stems from, because while there is a glossary, while there is a pronunciation guide, there is not a lot of exposition and explanation of this world that Tamsin has built. And so it gets really confusing, honestly. Like I know I was paying attention, and I know that I was trying to put the pieces together while the story was going on at the beginning, but I still felt lost. And I guess I just wanted a little more exposition, a little more explanation of the world in the beginning so that the rest of it could make a little more sense. However, I do appreciate that there is explanations of pretty much everything leading up to the final culmination throughout the beginning of the book, so it's not completely a waste of time. But while reading the first half of the book, I found myself frequently thinking, like, what is the point? And that's not something I really want to think while reading a book. I honestly felt like I was reading just to get through it so I could finally get to the aha moment. And I don't like that. I want to enjoy every single moment of the book. While I did enjoy this, you know, those small things did kind of stand in the way of my complete enjoyment. With most murder mystery-esque books like this, I like to come up with at least two possibilities of what the heck is going on or who the heck is murdering everyone. And I had told my partner two hypotheses pretty much 100 pages in, and one of them was right. But it was well done, honestly. They did, you know, sprinkle out the crumbs, and eventually you do understand why the finale happens. Very obvious to me, at least, from just the way one character spoke what was going on and what was going to happen. So I do know that my partner owns Harrow the Ninth, but he did not enjoy Harrow the Ninth, so I think he DNF'd it. He doesn't finish half of his books. I'm pretty sure he DNF'd Harrow the Ninth, but that means we do own it. It's on the shelves, so I might go ahead and read it. I do like the world, and I do like the magic system. I just wish that there was a little more explanation so that I understood more of what was going on, more of the impact of their actions. Because they do talk about, like, you know, they're representing their home world, and becoming a lictor will mean XYZ for their world. And I wish there was more of an explanation or an exploration of that, because there was just not a lot. I feel like that could have been really interesting. We get like one chapter where Harrow info dumps, and I liked the info dump, but it could have been spread out throughout the book. But it's not badly written at all. I do like the writing. Like I said, I thought the dialogue was hilarious. I do want to say that it is kind of gruesome. It's very gory, and I did feel a little sick at some points. So I would approach this book with caution if you kind of struggle with that. I don't personally struggle with that, but I did get grossed out by some parts of this book. So yeah, approach this with caution. Definitely read up on trigger warnings. I will try to list them down below. I finally finished the first book off of my partner's TBR. I don't know what I'm going to pick up yet next, because I kind of don't trust his book taste. I'll update you guys when I pick up another book.
Oh, it really does look like a burnt howlie. Look at it.
Hello, and happy Monday. So I think I'm gonna wrap up the reading vlog here, but I wanted to stop by and let you guys know that the next book that I decided to pick up is the book of Collie by M.R. Carey. I called it Broccoli for a while. The only other physical book that we own right now that my partner hasn't lent out that he also wants me to read, but I have a bit of a bone to pick with this book already. I'm just going to read you guys some synopses from a Reddit post, which I will link down below, and also reiterate some things that my partner told me about the book. But just so you know, this is a dystopian from what I can tell, and it's, I think, a sci-fi dystopian. And I think the biggest issue that I have with it is that online and from my partner, the main character, who is Collie, is a dark-skinned young man of about 15. He's essentially completely illiterate. Also looked up the author of this book, M.R. Carey, and he is a white British dude. Does that make me very hesitant to read this? Yes. Honestly, I'm gonna look up some Goodreads reviews from people whose opinions I trust who have read this book. But yeah, I'm very skeptical going into it. I don't know if I'll last more than maybe 100 pages, but I am gonna give it a few chapters, and I'll probably DNF it, because the idea of a white man writing a dark-skinned character who is completely illiterate kind of rubs me the wrong way. But I'll let you guys know if there's any more to be said on the Book of Collie. Okay, I'm sorry. I finished 3 chapters and I cannot do it. First of all, it reads like a very poorly educated British Cockney accent, which makes sense because M.R. Carey is British. But the fact that it's emphasized that the main character is also dark-skinned and uneducated and talks the way that he does is really frustrating. I don't like to see it. It just doesn't, it feels icky to me. It feels really icky to me that a white British man wrote this book. But I think I'm going to DNF it at like 2% into the book because I just I can't stand it. But like I said earlier, I think that's where the reading vlog is going to end for now, because my partner doesn't have any of the books that he was going to recommend to me. Okay, sorry, cutting in just to say I did figure out what I'm going to read next. And it's going to be a mix-up of Phoenix Extravagant by Yoon-Ha Lee and Middle Game by Shannon McGuire. So this is from my partner's bookshelves. I literally just went to his bookshelves and started looking for a title that interested me, and he had mentioned that I would probably enjoy this book by Yoon-Ha Lee more than their 9 Fox Gambit series. So I did read a couple pages and I think I'm interested. Just as a synopsis, it looks like they're trying to fight the government because the government is corrupted and not good, with a dragon mech, this thing right here. Middle Game, I don't know if I can describe Middle Game to you. What I know about it is that there's twins. It's Roger and Dodger. I also have been kind of itching to read this book, but I haven't made a good enough excuse to read it. So I might also just jump into this. Sorry that this was kind of disappointing. I'm sorry to my partner. We just simply do not have similar tastes in books, and it's fine. You know what? We've learned our lesson, and moving forward, maybe I just won't listen to you when it comes to books. And it's fine. It's absolutely fine. We're fine. We're great. Approach this book with caution. Approach Gideon the Ninth with caution. I think that's all that I have to say. I do want to point out this shirt that I stole from my partner. It says duct tape on it. Isn't that fantastic? I am all over the place today. I'm gonna wrap this up. Okay. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you are having a wonderful day. You have a wonderful rest of your week, and I will see you next time. Bye!